Nikola, I know you are in Switzerland, so I'm wondering, how is it out there?
I mean, the weather is not really nice,
Okay.
but the life is also very expensive here. Tristan mentioned once that it's the most boring country in the world, and I would agree. It's filled with bankers, including me, um, but there's not really much to see here.
Interesting. So you said including you. I didn't know that. Is there anything to go a bit more into there, or do you prefer to stay confidential on that end?
No, I mean, it's no problem for me to mention that I did the apprenticeship there, and it's the only place I've been working since I'm working.
Okay. And then you used the earnings from your banking career to invest into crypto, correct?
Yes, that's
Okay.
my savings from my job at the bank.
Mm. So going into crypto, how has the real world contributed to your success in that?
Since I am in the real world, I figured out that I knew nothing at all about crypto, and I was practically gambling all the time. I was invested in any crypto. I couldn't model anything that I was doing in the crypto world. Today, I have a sense that I know a bit, but there's it's a pretty big universe, the crypto universe, and there's also much to learn about it. But yeah, I think am a, I know some things now.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. So, in terms of the material about crypto within the real world, how different would you say it is to something that you can find out on the internet?
In the internet, you don't really get explained what the things are that you're doing. And in the real world, it's really explained why you invest in a certain cryptocurrency, how the ecosystem works, and why you are doing and researching certain things that you are doing.
Okay. So, in a bit more detail, because that was quite broad. So, I'm wondering, is there anything to go into there? Maybe unique insights you found within the crypto campus that you hadn't seen before?
I mean, since I am in the crypto campus, I know about a completely new ecosystem, the on-chain data. That's like the ecosystem, like it's for the economy. That's the ecosystem for cryptocurrencies, and pretty much everything that indicates certain movements in the price. Um, the majority of the things that impact the price of crypto were new to me when I joined the real world.
Okay. What was your experience with crypto before you joined the real world? I know you briefly mentioned gambling. Is there any more to go into there?
Yeah, I mean, I just invested, like the people around me just invested in the crypto coins that that's talked about the most in the public and in the internet and everything. But that's not really beneficiary as we learn in the real world because it doesn't matter if the people talk about a coin. The fundamental data of a coin matters if you invest in it or not.
Right. So, in terms of people talking about the coin, what about things like Elon Musk making a tweet and then Dogecoin going up? Like, how do you see that? Because it is technically being influenced by people talking.
Yes, that's also technically gambling because you're relying on someone talking about it. And if the person isn't talking about the coin anymore, then probably the coin is going to go down, and you rely only on one person, and that is not really investing how you should do it. Because in the real world, we learn not to be the gambler, but be the casino.
Okay, interesting. And how has your experience been with Adam's masterclass? Because I believe you have completed that, correct?
Yes. I mean, Adam is the first person you get to know when you join the crypto campus. And first, there are some tutorial lessons so that you know how you, for example, buy a coin. And it's really the basics that you learn first. But when you start with the masterclass, it's really you start to feel that you are getting really the, so to say, secret sauce of the crypto campus, because you now know why you are doing certain things. And you learn a lot about probabilities, about maths. You don't really do any calculations or something like that for people that are afraid of mathematics, but you just get to know the principles, why something is functioning as it's functioning. And you don't only learn about cryptocurrencies in the investing masterclass, but also in everyday life, what it's about, probabilities in life. And I think what someone can learn in Adam's masterclass, I mean, it is the crypto campus, but you can apply the things that you learn to every investing segment. For example, stocks, you can invest in stocks, in bonds, in cryptos. And the things that you learn there, you can apply everywhere, because we really don't know how things with crypto are going to go in the future. But that's really the thing that is great about the masterclass, because you don't only learn specific things about crypto, but about investing in general.
Right. Okay. And now moving on to gains. Are
Yeah.
you comfortable revealing the profits you've made since joining the crypto campus?
Yes, I mean, I don't know the amount exactly, but my gains were in dollars, maybe like $20,000. And I am there for, yeah, some months now. So the price that I've paid for the real world, I mean, it really was worth it, right? In
Mm.
at least in terms of financials.
Or, yeah. I don't know, $50 to 20,000. Might be a scam still, no?
Probably sounds like that to most people, I
Mm.
suppose. Yes.
What about in your case? Did you initially think it might be a scam? Were you skeptical at first?
About the real world.
Yeah.
Um, no, it's just the thing that I didn't really think about the real world when I was consuming content of Andrew Tate. Um, I don't know. I just didn't think about the possibility to also join. But I never really thought that it is a scam. I mean, the first time I thought about joining, I just joined because I searched for a possibility for myself to learn something new. And I never really wanted to go to university. And I just had finished something like pre uni before I joined the real world. And it was like the perfect time that I came across the real world.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
What would you say for has your average day changed now from before you joined the real world?
It's actually funny because last year I just went to school for 2 days. No, not last year, sorry, in 2021. I went to school for 2 days, and the other 3 days I really didn't do nothing. I mean, like, genuinely nothing. That's also the time when I also didn't even know about the real world, about the Tates, about nothing. And I mean, my everyday life has changed drastically since I am in the real world. Because in the real world, it's not only about making money, it's also about mindset. It's about not only mental fitness, mindset, but also physical fitness. And I feel like I am always occupied with something, not in a negative way, but I always feel like I have something to do, and I also want to do it. So I couldn't think of myself doing nothing again like that 2 years ago. Sometimes I am thinking about that time that I threw away, but I mean, like, you should look at the best move on the chessboard, right?
Right. Okay. And what would you have to say for what kind of an impact Tate has had on you?
The process of how I think has changed because I was always relying on motivation. And as we know, when you're not motivated, you don't feel like doing something, like, for example, um, doing research in a crypto coin or going to the gym, whatever it is. And I think one of the most essential things I learned from Tate is that it doesn't really matter if you're motivated or not. I mean, it benefits your performance for sure, but it's more important to rely on discipline, because then you will always get your things done, not only when you're motivated, right?
Mhm.
And that is the most important thing in terms of my thinking process that has changed.
Now, going back to the real world,
Yeah,
would you have anything to say for what kind of an impact the community has had on you?
I feel like every community has some sort of demotivational um, impact, but the real world is really the exception. I mean, everyone is just pushing the others. Everyone is just how to say, firing up, because you look at things that others have accomplished. I mean, there's also a section where you can show what you have accomplished recently, and if you still rely on motivation, you can look for motivation there. And if you need help for something that isn't just a Google search away, there is at least someone from all the people that will help you, and that is really essential for a community. And the community of the real world is really unique.
Right. Good, good to hear. And let's move on to what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when first starting out in the crypto campus outside of what you're saying with gambling?
Yeah, yeah. The biggest challenge since joining the real world is really beating the principle of the sunk cost fallacy, because as I said, I really relied on other people talking about a coin, or people around me buying a cryptocurrency, and that just brings losses with itself. And I had several big losses with crypto before I joined the real world. And then you always thinking, oh, okay, I'll wait until the value is back up there where I bought. And that is the sunk cost fallacy. And also, that is the metaphor with the chessboard, right? So it doesn't matter what you did until now. It just matters what your current position is and what's the best move that you can make now. And the best move is certainly not to hold on that coin that brought you so many losses, but that's just how people function, right? And the biggest challenge for me is just to sell everything, even though I'm, for example, at a 60% loss with something. The biggest challenge was just to sell that, forget that, and do the best with the money that is remaining, and follow the principles of the that are taught in the crypto campus in the real world.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, yeah, I like that. I had probably a similar experience as well when I was starting out. Yeah. Now, what would you say for what have been the three biggest lessons you've learned from your time in the real world?
Number one is surely the thing that I just talked about, to beat the sunk cost fallacy. Just to when you learn what is most beneficial for your portfolio, don't hold onto coins that are in a loss just because the the digits are red, because you are at a loss and there's a minus in front of it. Just sell it. Just sell everything and accept that you have failed and that you have a loss, and do the best thing that you can do now. Number two is never emotionally attach on any cryptocurrency, for example. That's also mentioned in the real world. The coins could also have the names, instead of, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they could also have names like token number 92 or token number 93, because only the data matters. The name doesn't really matter. Um, the technology matters to some extent, but it's not really the most important thing. And just don't attach emotionally. And the third thing is correlation, because just everything in the crypto world is correlated to Bitcoin. We also learned that it's the only real coin that there is, and everything is just correlated to it. Exceptions are some small caps, because they're just very, very volatile, because there's not much liquidity in it. But the correlation is really important to know, that the correlation to Bitcoin, because it renders diversification, broad diversification, useless, because everything just performs like Bitcoin.
Yeah, interesting. Now that you're on this trajectory, where do you see your life heading in 6 months to 1 year?
I really want to develop my own strategies, so that with the things that we learn in the real world, so that I don't have to rely on someone else in terms of crypto. And I also want to join another campus of the several campuses that we have in the real world, just that I can start my own business, and that I'm not dependent, for example, to a job anymore. I mean, that is the dream, right? Um, and yeah, that's basically it in 6 months.
Okay, fair. Now, my final question is, what would you have to say to people who still think the real world is a scam for $50?
It really seems like a scam when you just look at it, and when you look at the results that are possible with just $50 a month. But the only thing that I can say is the real world really isn't like any other scam organization there is out there. I mean, I can understand that someone thinks that, because 99.9% are a scam. But if you really listen what Andrew Tate says and listen to it carefully and more often, then you just recognize that it doesn't make sense that it is a scam, because it's just not coherent with what he's talking about. And I mean, until now, people would figure out that it is a scam, and the number of people in the real world isn't just maintaining its number, it's increasing. And that has a reason, because it is not a scam. If it was a scam, the number would be decreasing. Doesn't matter how good um, the marketing, for example, from Andrew Tate is, the number would be decreasing, because people would say that they are just losing money with it, that it is a scam, but it's not.
All right, great answer. And that concludes the interview. So, Nikola, thank you for your time,
Thank
and
you.
I wish you all the best.
You too.